Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back, you lovely faces, to another video here on the channel. We're going to take a look at something now which Brian Cox, he is a fantastic actor, don't get me wrong. He's been in some fabulous films and he played Hannibal Lecter. He played him well, he didn't play him amazingly like Anthony Hopkins did, but Brian Cox, he's been around and he starred in some great and huge films. Well, he's actually got a memoir out, as he's calling it, so it's basically an autobiography, and he has actually slated quite a number of Hollywood actors in it, and some of them, he even calls them friends. So let's get into it. So, 8 Hollywood A-listers Brian Cox trashes Logan Roy style in his new book. Succession star Brian Cox has had a long, successful career in Hollywood, but he has some choice words for a few major stars in his autobiography, putting the rabbit in the hat. Brian Cox has become one of the most famous faces in the world thanks to his starring role in Succession. To be honest with you, I've never heard of this TV series. Let me know if it's good down below, guys, and if it is, I'll give it a go. His character, megalomaniac media mogul Logan Roy, is not shy of expressing his feelings. It's a quality he shares with the actor who plays him. In his new autobiography, Putting the Rabbit in the Hat, Cox shares his thoughts on some of his co-stars and others in the industry. During his decades in the business, he has crossed paths with the great and not so great of Hollywood. Here's what he has to say about some of them. So he actually says a few choice words regarding Ed Norton and Michael Caine. 2002, Brian Cox starred with Spike Lee in 25th Hour. Co-starred with Ed Norton in Spike Lee's 25th Hour. Cox didn't love the film's lead. He's a nice lad, but a bit of pain in the ass, because he fancies himself as a writer-director. Well, bit of news for you, Mr. Cox. Ed Norton is a writer and director, and some of his films are absolutely fantastic once he is wrote and directed. There's so many films that Ed Norton has been a part in, some where he's just wrote them and he starred in them. Ed Norton is that guy, he knows what he wants, and to be honest with you, this, 2002, which is nearly 20 years ago, Well, yeah, it is, it's 20 years next year. He's done some things now, and his memoirs come out it's coming out soon, so it's been wrote in the last year or two. Brian Cox could have seen some of his things and be like, oh yeah, he is actually a writer-director, But again, Brian Cox, I think he's just trying to stir up some controversy to get people to buy his book. Michael Caine, an icon, a legend. That's all he needed to say, because Michael Caine is a legend, an icon. Cox would agree, but he'd also add, I wouldn't describe Michael as my favourite, but he's Michael Caine, an institution, and being an institution will always beat having range. Then he goes to Johnny Depp. In his book, he recounts turning down the role of the governor in the Pirates of the Caribbean, the part taken by Jonathan Pryce, but more on him later. Jonathan Pryce played that role amazingly. In the first 3 films, because he can do comedy. Brian Cox can't. He doesn't regret missing out on the Johnny Depp helmed series. Personable though, I'm sure he is so overblown, so overrated. I mean, Edward Scissorhands. Let's face it, if you come on with hands like that and pale, scarred face makeup, you don't have to do anything. And he didn't. And subsequently, he's done even less. With that one there, it's like, well, that's exactly what he did. He didn't, that's how he was. He was playing awkward, because that's what it is. But has this man not seen, again, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise? Has he not seen, bloody hell, Nick of Time, which is a phenomenal film. A phenomenal, real-time thriller. It's brilliant. Has he not seen Donnie Brasco? Has he not seen Black Mass? Has he not seen City of Lies or Minamata? There's so many films where Jack Sparrow is not in them, because obviously we got the Mad Hatter, we got when he's in, again, like I said, Edward Scissorhands and a few other things where it's a Johnny Depp role, everyone knows it, Sweeney Todd sort of thing, it's Johnny Depp. But when you look at the ones where he disappears, Black Mass, Minamata, City of Lies, Nick of Time, Donnie Brasco, Blow. There's just so many films this guy has been in. Chocolat. There's been so many of them. which is just like, come on. This guy has got range, and he does do well. And he's an Oscar-nominated actor, excuse me. These are my best ones now. Steven Seagal. Yeah, we all know Steven Seagal's a bit of a dick, and he's just literally on a different plane. You know, like literally, like he says, he's on a different thing. He's on a magic carpet going out of space. In '96, Cox co-starred in Steven Seagal cop thriller The Glimmer Man. I actually do like that film. The martial artist actor turned international diplomat made a lasting impression. Steven Seagal is as ludicrous in real life as he appears on screen. He radiates a studied serenity, as though he's on a higher plane to the rest of us. And while he's certainly on a different plane, no doubt about that, is probably not a higher one. David Bowie. A young David Jones, as he was known at the time, appeared as Soldier in Thames TV series Red Cap. A skinny kid, not a particularly good actor. He made a better pop star, that much is for certain. Then he goes into Tarantino. Cox has never worked with the auteur, and it doesn't look like he'd want to. Maybe. I find his work meretricious. I actually had to look up that word, because I was like, what the hell does this mean? And it's basically saying style over substance, and, you know, there's nothing unique to him. Tarantino is the king of dialogue. No one before him had dialogue that rolled off people's tongues like him. It's all surface, plot mechanics in place of depth. Style where there should be substance. I walked out of Pulp Fiction. That said, if the phone rang, I'd do it. Sadly, Mr. Cox, you're not type of Tarantino style. You're not his type of cup of tea. Let's put it that way. Now he goes into Jonathan Pryce and Christopher Walken. It must have been interesting behind the scenes on 2001's film The Affair of the Necklace, where Brian Cox appeared with Jonathan Pryce and Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken was somewhat bemused by Jonathan Pryce, which is understandable. Jonathan being an interesting fish, kind of dark, gloomy at times. And if you can freak out Christopher Walken, that's all we say by there. But to me, that is just absolutely mind-blowing, because the people he has dissed here, out of everyone, Steven Seagal is the only one who can't act. You know, Steven Seagal is the only one. And again, another one was a mega star in the music industry. So it's like, well, you got that one there, mate. Doesn't really matter. But when you start going on against Jonathan Pryce, Oscar-nominated actor, Christopher Walken, Oscar-nominated actor, and won. And then you also got, you know, Johnny Depp. These are Michael Caine. These are Oscar-nominated actors. Some of them have won as well, so it shows that they are good. And when you look at him and he's like, oh yeah, you've got this. This is where it gets interesting. And more. There are also digs at Gary Oldman, Daniel Day-Lewis, John Hurt, and Michael Gambon, frequently. So, saying there's digs at these people, you know, not like, oh yeah, he mentions them. He has digs them, like these he has here with these other ones. So he has a dig at Gary Oldman. One of the best actors ever, you know? Oscar nominated and Oscar winner. But then he says he has a dig at Daniel Day-Lewis, which, personally, my favourite actor and my favourite number one actor of all time is two of them, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Those two together, to me, they are the pinnacle of cinema for me, because I grew up watching them. You know, even though I'm only 35, my dad watched them and I used to watch films with him. You know, Heat is my number one film, followed by the Godfather series. But this man, Brian Cox, who, let's say, I used to actually like Brian Cox until I started reading this, and then I was just thinking, dude, what's wrong? He has a go at Daniel Day-Lewis. Most likely the greatest human actor ever. You know, this guy is, I'd probably say he is the greatest actor who ever lived. You know, he's not my number one, or he's not in my top 10, like, you know. But when you look at his role in so many of the films he's been in, My Left Foot, you know, Lincoln, you know, There Will Be Blood, which is one he won his second Oscar for. There Will Be Blood I would possibly say is the greatest performance in movie history from Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is the actor. You know, he's the actor's actor. And he does a dig at him. But he does a dig at John Hurt as well and Michael Gambon. It's like, dude, what the hell have you got, against Dumbledore? Come on. But this is what we got. He says by there, speaking to the big issue, Cox said none of his friends mentioned in the book had read it yet. It's like, oh yeah, I've mentioned them, but they haven't read it yet. But he says by there though, I'm expecting probably never to hear from some people again, but that's the way it goes, he said. And to me, that's just like, dude, come on. You are literally having a go at the biggest people in Hollywood. And like I said, he's probably just stirring up controversy so he can get people to buy the book and read it. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more updates and more videos like this. Stay up to date with certain things going on in the movie world and in the celebrity world. And I'll see each and every one of you soon.